Doctor Strange. You think you know how the world works? What if I told you the reality you know is one of many?
This doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does. Not everything has to. Through the mystic arts, we harness energy and shape reality. We travel great distances in an instant.
How do I get from here to there?
How did you become a doctor?
Study and practice, years of it.
There's a strength to him.
But is he ready? Be careful which paths you travel down, Strange. Stronger men than you have lost their way. I am death. In pain. You'll die protecting this world.
I can't do this.
There is no other way.
I've spent so many years peering through time, looking for you.
What's this, my mantra?
It's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
Woohoo! Doctor Strange! Woohoo!
Welcome to BrosKnow. Now, this is our review for Doctor Strange. Both Gavin and I have seen it. Gavin, your impression?
I liked the movie. It was a lot of fun. Some things I thought could have been better, but talk about the positives, because there's certainly more positives than negatives of this.
There certainly is. Okay, so my first feeling about the movie was that it was actually a little bit too short for me.
Yeah?
I wanted more.
How long was it?
It's just under 2 hours.
Okay.
So it's one of the shorter movies that are out there. They tend to be over 2.25 these days.
Yeah. Well, not so much the first ones. You find like certainly the Captain Americas, they got a bit longer as they went on. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next Doctor Strange is a little bit longer.
Yeah, now, unfortunately, this might have a few spoilers, not plot-wise, but probably setup-wise.
I think if you're going to talk about this movie, you've got to have some spoilers. And it's probably best you watch the movie first and then you come back and watch this, quite frankly.
Yeah, okay, so, as I say, the interesting thing for me was that with this movie, Doctor Strange didn't actually become the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the end, if you know the Doctor Strange backstory, he is the Sorcerer Supreme. He's very powerful, very powerful. But with this, they set him up to be the master of the New York, was it?
Sanctum, I think?
Sanctum. Yeah, Sanctum. So, and the fight, while it was pretty good and a really interesting way of getting out of it, I felt it was a little bit too short. It kind of reminded me of Fantastic Four 2 with Silver Surfer and how he kind of just beat the bad guy, Galactus.
I don't know, how short was it? We don't really know how short it was. He could have been there for years, or we know.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, with time, things can go on for ages and ages and ages. But I mean, what we saw was, just a snippet of it.
Yeah.
And it was just repeated over and over again. I wanted more. I wanted to see more. In my opinion, this is Marvel's most visually stunning movie. It's got fantastic visuals in it.
Yeah, it's a trippy movie to watch. It's certainly very. You watch it and you'll be thinking Inception and those kinds of things. So it's a bit of a mind bender. Yeah, we'll come to that actually. Yeah, I'll talk about a bit more about because that's kind of a negative. Not so much that stuff, but how far they took it.
Yeah, yeah. So very interesting story. Doctor Strange himself was not the nicest character, but I think that in the comic books he was made to be even worse. He was really quite selfish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of origin stories, and I actually liked how they told the story, but he wasn't, because he's just great asshole in the comic. He really is. He's a selfish, money-grabbing prick is pretty much what he is.
It's all about himself,
exactly.
And fame and
everything. I mean, they have this scene where there's this need to do the surgery, and no one in the world but Doctor Strange can do it.
Yeah,
and I would have expected his character at that point to say, well, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Unless he thinks he's going to get something out of it, then you do it. I would have put in to sort of get her to convince him to do it through money or fame or some reason to do it. But he just sort of decided to do it. So it was kind of, he's not that bad,
Exactly, and I know that when you have a main character, you don't want him to be too much of an a-hole.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the audience have no sympathy for him. But I think that they could have pushed him to be more of an a-hole, and then pulled him back by the deeds that he performed later on.
Perhaps because then you have to have the story where he betters himself. What do you call that? Makes himself better, and you have to have. So he's the asshole, but then he turns himself around, and so you've got to have that arc, and you have to give that arc enough time where you say, okay, he was an ass, but now he's a nice guy, and you like him. So maybe that story was going to take a bit too long, so they just made him, a bit of a prick, but not too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't really have an issue with it. I quite liked the origin of it. I think it was fairly true to the comic, which isn't necessarily a good or bad thing, but I like that they did follow that well. That car scene, that accident scene is amazing. It's a horrendous accident.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The fact that he even lived that thing is pretty amazing.
Certainly the suffering that he goes through in the film is pretty convincing.
That's pretty clear.
That was pretty good. But I got to touch on another fantastic positive, the acting. The acting talent in this film, everyone was on point. Yeah, just fantastic.
I mean, Tilda Swinton. I've never seen her in a bad role either.
Yeah, she played the White Witch, and then he was fantastic. Yeah. His character reminded me very much of the character he played on Serenity.
Yeah.
He
a true believer.
Yeah, he does the right thing because he's told to do it, but his character is very black and white.
Yeah,
it's this or that, and there's no in between.
Yeah,
Tilda Swinton's character, she realizes that sometimes you have to step over the mark just a little bit to do the right thing.
Yeah, and
I think Doctor Strange was of the same thought.
For the greater good type of thing. I like that, and I like that they are going to take their time with his story arc. Yeah, very much like Loki, where they let him grow. Yeah, so this is a character, Mordo that you're going to see for a number of movies. I imagine he's going to be an ongoing character.
Certainly, he's one of the interesting characters in the Doctor Strange comics. So if you know anything about the comic, you'll know where he's going with his character. But Mills Mickelson, he's another fantastic actor. He plays a really good bad guy, but in this one, he wasn't, unlike Casino Royale, where he's just a bad guy. With this one, there's a bit of humour to him, and he is also of the thought that sometimes you need to do certain things to have, basically, the end justifies the means.
Yeah, he rather takes it a little bit too far, and I think this character, he's he feels a bit betrayed by Tilda Swinton's character, the elder, you know, and he thinks, well, you know, bugger, then, you know, you're not going to share this power, then I'll go get it for myself.
Yeah, and he is of the mind that he's doing this for the good of the entire Earth as well.
Yeah.
So, but the last scene actually did remind me of Fantastic Four 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer, with the destruction, the big bad guy showing himself. Did remind me of Galactus once again coming through to Earth. There was a scene that, a fantastic action scene that we only got to see a certain way, and I would have loved to have seen the whole thing play forward.
Which one is that?
Remember, everything goes backwards, but we don't get to see it forward.
Right.
You know, I would have loved to have seen that, because that would have been really expensive. It's a really massive action sequence, and I imagine that there was a really good fight there. Certainly, the martial arts in this are pretty impressive.
They are, yeah, absolutely. It's a good fun movie. The action in it is top class.
Yeah.
But are we finished with the thing? You want to talk about some of the?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think that we've given all the positives.
One more positive. I really liked Benjamin Bratt's. His little segment in there.
Yeah,
I thought it was a little bit short. I wanted to see more of him, and I was really happy that we got the mid-credit scene with him.
Got the end credit scene.
The end credit scene.
Yes.
Sorry,
make sure that you stay for the end credit scene, people.
Absolutely. Always stay. Don't be a loser. Don't be a loser and work out too early.
Yeah, but just you pay your money for it, so just stay right to the end.
No, it's the judgment you get from the knowing Marvel fans. Who say, "Oh, look at this guy!
This guy walking out early." Well, when I went, there was a pretty full theatre. There was only 3 of us that actually stayed, but we got to see it. No one else did. Foolish people.
Yeah. I guess you could wait like 3 weeks and just watch it on YouTube or something. But still,
yeah, you know, you're in the know. Negatives.
Those are 3 weeks that you know something that other people don't.
Negatives. What about it?
I mean, there's a couple of things that I thought should have been done better. Like the action was amazing, but it was not very magical action. I mean, if you play any role-playing games, you know, every sort of intern mage has a fireball, but there was none of that. Basically, they made swords and shields out of their magical
so
swords. And
basically,
shields.
they were just like fighting swords and shields and martial arts.
Yeah.
Basically,
it was like, yeah, that was cool. I have no doubt about it, but I would have liked to have seen some magical spells or something like that. So the magical spells sort of consisted of altering reality, and so they could better attack through that sort of position and put the people off, and then punch them in the face kind of thing, right? Instead of just like shooting them with a fireball, doing some Harry Potter lightning stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that, just to say that yes, we are magicians and we have these kinds of spells.
Well, I do agree with you wholeheartedly, because people have seen this stuff in other movies already. It's not going to be something new, so it's not a giant leap for this to happen in a Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme movie.
Yeah.
So I think that we should have gotten some of that, but it was a bit, you know, I kind of think that Marvel didn't want it to be too much. But we can handle that stuff because people love Harry Potter.
Exactly. Everyone knows about that stuff, and they know that he's magic. So I think it would be expected to see be a lightning, a fireball, or something like some projectile type of weapon, right? I think, and I like the fact that they would have had these martial arts skills, you know, like a Shaolin monk who, you know, it's all about body, mind, and spirit. So having those in sync, so being able to defend yourself, hey, have no issue with that. Because the fireball's no good when the person's punching you in the face, you know, it's just not going to work. But so I have no issue with that. But while they were far away, you know, throw a lightning ball or something, that would have been cool. I think they missed the trick there.
Yeah.
And I really don't think it would have been too much for the audience to handle.
Yeah.
Coming to that, which probably was my other thing, which I would have really liked them to take just a little bit further, is And talking about what you think, would it be just too much for the general audience to handle? I think they could have added a couple more horror elements to it, having a couple of demons and they're fighting them instead of just these henchmen dudes. You know? Especially with a guy like
Doctor Strange, you can pull there.
It's basically a horror comic, you know. That's what he does. He fights these weird demons and extra dimensional, like the one at the end, right? But surely, if this guy wants to take over the world, he's going to send in a few of his own henchmen to help out the Mads Mikkelsen's.
Certainly, the big bad guy wasn't as scary as I would have liked him to be, because he's this all-conquering demon who is, devoured multiple worlds and gone through the multiverse. But he looked pretty.
All you saw was his kind of his face. You didn't get a full sort of idea of who he was, and I kind of didn't mind that. I kind of liked how they handled it, in that situation. Because Doctor Strange, he isn't the Sorcerer Supreme as you see it at this point. I think he would have got a hell of a lot of practice while he was doing that. But so, because this is spoilers, he basically traps him in this time loop, and he just he's getting killed time and time again. We don't know how long he's in there. He's probably there for a long time, and then this guy goes, "Oh, release me," and that's how he bargains with him to save the Earth, right? So I liked how they handled it, because he just couldn't take more at this point. But yeah, maybe they should have shown more. I was kind of happy with what they showed. What I would have liked to see was these smaller demon beasts come in and be the henchmen as opposed to just normal humans.
I couldn't help thinking maybe because he's not the Sorcerer Supreme, they wanted to tone down on the amount of power he could actually wield.
Yeah, there was a thought of that.
Yeah, until he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, he's not going to be throwing out too much, fantastic spells, fantastic magics.
Yeah.
So that could be one thing. Certainly, it's a lot of fun if you stay for those mid-credit scenes. The mid-credit scene in this one was really interesting and quite fun, and leads some possibilities for Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So make sure that you stay and watch that.
We've got to talk about that. What were your thoughts about that?
I thought that was interesting because I didn't realise that there was any chance of him coming in Thor Ragnarok. Now, I don't know whether he's going to be in there at all. Or whether they're just going to talk about him helping them.
I actually think that is because even the movie, the Doctor Strange movie, is not set in the now. It's actually in the past. So when you first come across him, you see Stark Towers, and it's Stark Towers. So it's before the Avengers movie, and then when you see it, when he sort of after he gets his powers and he's done some training, basically when he becomes the master of the New York Sanctum, Stark Towers is under construction, so it's after the first Avengers movie.
Wait, but they talk about a major with spinal injuries, and I'm sure they're talking about the Civil War Rhodey from Civil War. He's driving in the car.
Yeah, when he's saying, "Oh, give me some 3 things." He was testing some special armor. Was that Rhodey?
The injury that they talk about while he's driving the car, one of the injuries certainly sounds like War Machine.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the injury there that he suffered during Civil War. So they started before Civil War, but then they went after Civil War after that.
So when does the Stark Tower gets destroyed around there?
Well, I'm not too sure. Maybe it gets destroyed in Ultron. I'm not too... Maybe it just took him a long time to actually construct it. Timelines,
it could have been someone else. They don't actually say his name. That'd be interesting to see the timeline of that.
Could be.
When the mid-credit scene is with Thor comes in, I actually think that's after Thor Ragnarok. So there's Thor Ragnarok, and then he brings Loki because he figures out that Loki's acting as Odin.
That would be before Thor Ragnarok. Oh, it's
after.
Before the movie. Yeah. Because Loki is acting as Odin after Dark World.
Yeah.
And then he finds out, and then they have to find their father, perhaps to stop the Ragnarok.
Yeah, I actually think it's after Ragnarok and he's come back to Earth to find his father. But I don't know. We have to watch Ragnarok to really find out. But that was kind of my thought when I saw it anyway. Yeah, so I mean, really enjoyable movie. Interesting. I really liked the story. Liked how it sort of tied in with the time frames. Not so sure about the time frame now that you talk about that. I didn't quite catch it, and I wish I had a rewind so I could have listened to it again because I didn't quite catch it.
I love listening for these little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Time to rate?
Yeah, just in regard to the whole horror thing. I mean, Scott Derrickson, who's
The director,
yeah, he's a huge horror fan and made a lot of horror movies. That's why I actually thought they brought him in there to add that real horror element to it. Didn't really see a lot of that, so
Didn't
it
really
was kind
see
of
it
interesting. Yeah. It's not necessarily disappointing, but I thought they missed the trick.
I thought they did too. Yeah, not much acting. I thought that it wasn't strange enough.
Yeah,
for me.
Exactly, yeah.
And the action was fantastic, visuals beautiful. But yeah, the fact that it wasn't as strange as I thought it might be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the name of the movie, so why not?
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe again, as you say, it's so the general audience don't get weirded out too much and wonder what is this trippy piece of crap.
But yeah, I mean, if Marvel did the thing, then they really do underestimate their audience because the people who go to see Harry Potter, they go to see these movies as well. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? What's your rating for this?
Oh, I liked it. It's good. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of it. It was good without being great.
Yeah.
But it's still good enough to get at least. I'm going to give it an 8.2.
8.2. The acting at a top notch, visuals beautiful. For me, the story is too short. The movie not strange enough. Probably 7.8, just under 4 out of 5. 7.8 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
So, I mean, I want to watch this movie again because sometimes you have expectations when you go into a movie. And I certainly did with this. So I want to watch it again and just see where I really sit with this. At the moment, 7.8. Kevin, 8.2.
Yeah, look, I have no issue with having expectations, especially with Marvel movies, because quite frankly, they've been meeting those expectations.
Just about all of them.
Yeah, so I expected it to hit the mark. It didn't quite hit it, which I think is a failure for Marvel in a sense, because they didn't hit it out of the park like they usually do.
That's exactly right. I mean, with the Guardians of the Galaxy, they certainly did with that one. You know, I was expecting nothing though, and I got something really, really, really good, really fantastic. Okay, but all in all, an average of 8 out of 10. That's still a really good watch.
Nah, it's a good movie, no doubt about it. Yep.
There's a lot of fun to be had with that movie. Certainly, if you don't agree with our comments, add your own underneath, please, and tell us what you think.
Hey, tell us when you think the movie is set, because I'd quite like to know that. Just it was based on the thing. I thought it was before Avengers and then after Avengers. He does need a lot of time to train, so I think that would sit right.
Certainly does. There was a date on one of his trophies, but I couldn't really see it properly. If I could see the movie again, I would wait to see what that was, and then I'd be able to tell whereabouts he is. Because you're right, this thing doesn't happen over like 1 or 2 months. It happens over a long period. This is long training.
Yeah, I can't remember how long he's training. He's just at least 5 years he was training in the thing. Not particularly in the movie, but I'm sure in the comics he was.
So, once again, if you don't agree, please add your comments. If you agree, add your comment as well. Gavin, last words.
Cool. Hey, just a lot of fun movie. Subscribe, like, do those good things. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Catch you later.